Hi, I'm Tristan. This is Thinking About Politics, and today we're wrapping up our exploration of ranked choice voting. It's been a long journey across the country. We've gone to Alaska, we went to Arkansas, we mentioned North Dakota really quick. And while we're at it, how come Arkansas Issue 5 got a standalone episode, North Dakota Ballot Measure 2 didn't? I mean, North Dakota, we never even did your flag. And, it's not bad. It's all third place. Just to explain myself, this may be personal preference, but you'll lose a couple points because this eagle is so detailed. I have a personal prejudice against flags with a lot of detail on them. It makes it very difficult for elementary school kids to draw them in schools, but you only lose a couple points, and still number 3. But we're really sorry, North Dakota. You deserved a standalone episode. We were just figuring everything out, and the North Dakota Supreme Court had just removed the ballot measure. We owe you one. We're going to get you back, North Dakota. But today we're ending our ranked choice voting exploration in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts because question 2 is unlike any of the ranked choice measures we've seen yet. And, well, it's really got us thinking. Now, you deserve to know something before I say one more word about this. I will be voting for Yes on 2. I am a Yes on 2 supporter. I got 2 of these hanging out in my yard and about 50 others in my garage. But this is not going to be a campaign ad for question 2. That's not the point here. We really want to critically think about this thing. So, let's look at the flag here and... Massachusetts, what is going on here? I mean, what's with the sword? Why is it swinging above the head of my Algonquin friend here? Is that Latin? But why would you put Latin on a flag? And what does it say? Well, let's translate. By the sword we seek peace, but peace only under liberty. Who? Is that Algonquin guy threatening your liberty? Is that what the sword's about? So let's do this officially. So Massachusetts, color scheme, positive. Stars, always good. Little kids can draw stars. You got a lot of detail in the Algonquin and the sword here. So you're losing points. Also, the connotation. You're losing points for that too. And worst of all, you put Latin on a flag. How dare you do that? How dare you? Shame. I hate to do this to you, Massachusetts, but I have to. Number 50. Dead last. You can do better. That's... Okay. Question 2. So the proposal contained in Massachusetts question 2 looks radically different from the other proposals we've looked at here that deal with ranked choice voting. All other questions that were on the ballot this year, Arkansas, North Dakota, and Alaska, all had some version of an open primary. Massachusetts question 2 dispenses with all of that. Check out our video on Alaska Ballot Measure 2 if you want to know more about the open primary. So unlike some states, Massachusetts takes a pretty active role in running the primary elections for its political parties. Qualify as a political party in Massachusetts, there are certain thresholds that you can meet by either obtaining a certain amount of votes or having a certain amount of people register as that political party. But once those groups reach party status, they have the right to have their candidates' names printed on the state ballot. The main feature of Massachusetts question 2 is that it will add 2 sections to Mass General Laws, Chapter 50, and these will institute ranked choice voting in certain elections. So let's say you're going to vote for someone for Congress. You've got people running for the Libertarian Party nomination, the Republican Party nomination, the Democratic Party nomination, and maybe the Green Rainbow is down here. In theory, you're left with a situation where the nominees of these 4 parties will go head to head to head to head, and you may run the risk of electing a Cyclops troll with like 26% support. But, honestly, can I be real with you? Is that really a problem right now? I mean, look at our elections. Is there really some epidemic out there of Congress people being elected with 22% support or 26% support in a really split race with a bunch of political parties? No! Really, everything hammers out between Democrats and Republicans. In the really heated states, it's like a 50-50 split. In other states, it can be as high as 60-40 or 70-30. So what's really going on here? Is ranked choice voting just trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist? Well, you see this group down here? This group, after a couple elections, realizes it ain't gonna win. fact, their best chance is by joining that other party that keeps getting more votes than them. So they jump up in there. And same thing happens on the other side. This other smaller party knows that they're not going to get the votes they need to win. And so they join the bigger tent. Now you have two big parties encompassing a lot of people who actually didn't agree with each other in the first place, trying to build political coalitions with folks who may be like-minded somewhat, but certainly not all the time. This shouldn't surprise anybody. This isn't like a moral judgment. It's not like an evil conspiracy necessarily. It's just kind of what will happen when you think about it. So, ranked choice voting will get people out of these big tent parties maybe. Maybe it'll allow people with similar interests to combine and organize for things that they want. I mean, look, do you really want me in the Republican Party if the only reason I'm there is because I'm afraid of Democrats? Similarly, do you really want me in the Democratic Party because I think Republicans are nuts? Maybe. If we're cynical, if those parties think they can control those disaffected folk, they'll keep it going. But really, I think it probably makes more sense to allow a system where I can organize with people I actually agree with. And we can propose reforms we actually think are good ideas, instead of constantly having to compromise our values before proposals make it into the free marketplace of ideas. So like it or not, the perception is that third-party candidate cost George Bush re-election in 1992. There's a perception that Ralph Nader's Green Party candidacy cost Al Gore the election in 2000, rightly or wrongly. This makes it pretty impossible to form any true third party in the current climate. Now, before you get ahead of me though, don't think you're going to be voting for president in Massachusetts on a ranked choice ballot anytime soon. Ballot Measure 2 specifically targets statewide offices, Congress, state representatives, those types of things. Specifically excluded are president and local municipal office. And there's some argument to say, hey, with such a reserved measure, you're not really changing much. Why bother? Well, one of the benefits here of leaving off things like the presidential election and municipal elections is it makes it an easier pill to swallow. It's going to be a much harder sell if you need to get the political power of all the little municipalities of Massachusetts on board with this bill. They could be some serious opposition. Similarly, with the presidential race, it might be just easier to avoid that for now, and, maybe down the line, once people get more comfortable with the idea, they'll be okay with it. After all, if it works, there's really no reason to exclude it for presidential elections or municipal elections. But if you could think of a good reason why, please let us know in the comments. I'm really interested to hear. Take what I say, with a grain of salt. I am a Yes On 2 supporter here, but really, I really am just trying to think about this, right? I am not trying to support anybody. I don't see good arguments against this. I don't see genuine arguments against this. Let me put it that way. So I think that's it for me now. I'm going to let you go. Until next time, keep thinking. Time to kiss you now. I'm busy with this mule.